You're listening to The Pump Fake.
And welcome into the latest edition of the Pump Fake, everybody. Post Hall of Fame game edition of the Pump Fake. Jarrett Bailey with you as always, joined today by my good friend from Too Deep Zone, Mike Tanier. Good to see you, my friend. How are you?
Doing well. Tiny bit hungover from the Hall of Fame game. Straighten up a bit.
A lot of substances needed to get us through the first preseason game of the year.
Yeah, I don't know what substances you can talk about and not get banned from YouTube, but some work better than others for the Hall of Fame game. Like drinking will kind of angry up the blood in the second half, but there's other stuff that you just like, yeah, let Herndon Hooker wash over you. Let Isaac Tesla.
Who, by the way, Collinsworth talked about, like, if Tesla asked nice enough, he'd let him have a go with his wife. It was like, geez, all right, dude, calm down. He's talking, he's like, oh, third round pick, great hands. I was like, all right, Chris, it's July 31st. Relax.
The man crush on Tesla is rather intense. And I saw him. It's like, wait, this kid looks like a young Patrick Swayze.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Roadhouse.
There's some psychosexual things not to go all like Christian Wilkins, but there's some psychosexual things going on here with the fascination with not just a great white hope of a wide receiver, but sort of a roadhouse man crush, point break thing happening.
Which, I mean, I'm not going to pretend I don't have. Like when I see like a handsome man, I'm like, God, like, because I think I certainly have that a lot. Yeah. By the way, for I think Collinsworth is awesome. I know everybody kind of has their own opinions about Colin. I think he's great. Right. He makes me laugh, but just very silly when he goes on certain tangents. It is very fun. So yeah, we can talk about the Hall of Fame game a little bit. I don't have like too many thoughts. I put out a joke post on Twitter and Blue Sky saying, oh man, the 49ers made the wrong decision. Look how great Trey Lance is. Just getting, my preseason reps in terms of takes. It's preseason for us too. Yeah. But now I think I pose this question to you. Would Trey Lance start today for the Browns? Because I think the answer is yes.
The Browns with Pickett injured right now, yes. Okay. I don't know if I might take something. I might still take Flacco.
Yeah, Flacco has the thing where like he can get hot for like a month. He did it with Cleveland in 2023, and they went to the postseason. So I would hear that argument. I won't hear an argument for like any of the Saints quarterbacks. He would start for the Saints tomorrow too. All of them stink.
Right, because the main thing about Lance, and we saw this last night, and it's like anytime he was asked to do something actually difficult, which was rare last night because it's the Hall of Fame game, you're facing third stringers, he was struggling. He's getting out of the pocket confused, not getting good scrambles off, throwing the ball at guys' feet a little bit like that. It was when it was in tutorial mode that, he showed that like he is this talented guy who can throw screen passes, etc. If you put him out there in a real game, does your offense just become complete bullshit? Like with Flacco, it's like he's actually going to run the play in sequence. It might be an interception. You might have to throw it away, but the play will run as called. Is it going to be a situation where there's somebody open over here and the protection was here and Lance didn't see it and he winds up taking a sack and you as the coordinator says, what are we doing here? Saints quarterbacks, I think you're in that same boat. Yeah.
And I'll say this about Trey Lance, though, too. He had a nice little throw up the right sideline to Keandre Lambert-Smith in the first quarter. It was a nice, I'll give Greg Roman some credit, too. It was a nice form because they had trips to the left side to kind of free that, the isolated receiver up, and it worked out really well. The Lions sent like a heavy blitz in the red zone, and he hit Lambert-Smith on the slant for a touchdown. It's like he made a few plays that were like, all right. The touchdown pass to Will Dissly, it was a bootleg to the right. Dissly is like an actual starter for the Chargers. So like he's playing against third stringers. You take everything with a grain of salt, of course. But I will say the Detroit Lions, though, Kyle Allen threw a meatball marinara to the sideline on an out route that was so easily picked off by, I think, Nico Red, an undrafted guy who they really like, and he had a really nice game. Yeah, the Lions, again, it's, backups and whatnot, largely doesn't matter, but they're backups. God forbid anything happened to Jared Goff. They are FUBAR.
Yeah, Allen threw that meatball. I kind of forgot about that. Like, that was just slowly going to the outside with whether that was quarters or it's like he's playing off coverage, that cornerback, a undrafted free agent's waiting for it. That was bad. Hooker looked like he did not know he was supposed to throw the ball. Like a Madden guy, and you don't know which button the throw the ball button is. Like controller. So you're doing the pump fake button and the scramble button, and the defense is converging on you. Lambert Smith looked good. That's a 5th-round pick that they might be needing to be a wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5 there. Could wind up ahead of Trey Harris, who was late to camp and I don't think is that great a prospect. He looked good. Reed, the cornerback, that's eye-opening that you're baiting an NFL quarterback such as it is on a play like that. There are little takeaways like that.
Yeah, and that's what preseason's for. We're going to see what guys who are kind of fringe roster guys can earn a roster spot, or guys in the middle of the roster who might impress a little bit more. And we got a little bit of that in the Hall of Fame game. First week of preseason will kick off next week for all 32 other teams. So, good stuff from the Hall of Fame game. We got football on the field. That's all that we really needed to take away. Let's get into some actual news, though, around the NFL. Both Micah Parsons and Terry McLaurin over the last 16 hours or so have made headlines. Last night, before the Hall of Fame game kicked off, Jordan Schultz reported that Terry McLaurin has requested a trade out of Washington. And then this morning, Diana Rossini of The Athletic reporting that the relationship between Micah Parsons and the Dallas Cowboys is reaching irreparable, situation there in Dallas. And I just want to say this before I kind of give the floor to you. We see this so many times throughout the year, every year, where at least like a small handful of superstars will go and request a trade and say, actually, I want out of here, or I'm not getting paid what I want. And then about 15 minutes after the trade request, Adam Schefter tweets, hey, so-and-so just got paid by the team he just said he hates and doesn't want to play for anymore. Turns out they're actually best buds again and everything's all kumbaya. That's all this screams to me. Not to say that Micah Parsons and Terry McLaurin shouldn't get paid. They absolutely should. I think McLaurin's only making $15 million a year right now, which is about half of what the market value is. That said, if you're Washington, you see what Cortland Sutton just made, and you're not going to give Terry McLaurin like 32.5 per year. He's going to be 30 years old. I get all of that. But all of this just screams, hey, this is a power play by agent and player to put more public pressure on both organizations to get something done rather than both guys actually wanting out.
Right. It's just sort of the perfunctory chess moves. Yeah. You moved your pawn. Now you're moving the knight out because that's the next step that you can take if the negotiations have stalled. Wait till you've been doing this for 20 years. And also, it's not 15 minutes later. They usually give all of us enough time to write the 5 landing spots for Terry McLaurin. Material that we're all obligated to write as if we really like bit on this cheese that it was a real trade demand. So McLaurin, it's almost like Ayuk last year. It's
exactly
right. And the Washington guys are former 49ers guys, and the 49ers always made them go through this song and dance. With Micah and Jarrett and this whole thing that sounds like Jarrett now just refuses to speak to the agent at all.
Yeah.
Because he talked to Micah and they thought they had a deal. It reminds me of like when I talked to my mom after she got off the phone with my brother. I am never speaking to him again. He was mean to me. And I know my brother asked my mom to like take her medication or some other horrible thing like that, like that's really going on. It's just increasingly like the level of dysfunction and an incoherence coming out of the Cowboys camp. They got Ferguson done.
I mean, hardy har. Like congratulations. You got James Ferguson done. Congratulations.
Yeah, you got your B+ tier, maybe tight end, sort of. You were able to do that. But we know no matter how much drama, it ends with Jarrett open up the vault and giving TJ Watt money to Mike at the last minute, not structured in any way that actually is helpful for the team. And then we get this Cowboys team that's going to go out there and live or die by their top 5 guys.
Yeah, and I'm glad you point out the Ayuk thing because that dragged on quite literally all offseason last year from like April till August. And everybody was sure he was getting traded. And then at the 11th hour, they get a deal done.
Right.
Myles Garrett earlier this year saying, you know what, I want a chance to play for a Super Bowl contending team, and then the Browns offered him $40 million a year, and he's like, actually, Kenny Pickett fucking rules. Let's do this. I think that this is going to work out great. And that's not, pick on Myles Garrett or anything like that, because we've seen plenty of examples of this where players take money, like DeAndre Hopkins a couple years ago. You remember he signs with the Titans, and then like halfway through the year, it's reported, oh, he's frustrated in Tennessee. No shit, DeAndre. You could have gone with Baltimore or Buffalo or Kansas City, and you chose Will Levis and a big payday. Quit bitching. Like you knew what you were getting into. So I think that all in all, it's just annoying as somebody who covers the NFL. And you said, wait till you've been doing it 20 years. This is year 6 for me, and it's already like all the constant. Oh, this guy requested a trade. I wonder where he'll land. He's going to stay exactly where he is.
That's it. We all have to do the thing. Ooh,
yeah. The eyeball emoji tweets and shit like that is just so annoying.
Right, this performative thing. And there are fans out there who, they don't live this. So when they hear the trade request, they don't know that some other team did the same thing 2 years ago and the other team 3 years before that. They're like, oh my God, maybe McLaurin's available. Oh my God, maybe we're going to lose him if you're a Washington fan. And we sort of have to do the thing. And yeah, there's like this 5% chance that McLaurin gets traded, but
right.
It's a 5% chance. It's as much chance as you would get of like some guy you didn't even realize was on the block getting traded. That's about how great the odds are.
Yeah, and especially for these two guys, like it would have made sense for the Browns to trade Myles Garrett. They're not close to contending. They would have got a king's ransom in return for him. They paid him, and look, he's a great player, obviously, but for them, I just didn't get it. For Dallas and Washington, if you're the Commanders, you finally found a franchise quarterback on a rookie deal, and this receiver just caught 13 touchdowns last year and helped you get to the NFC title game. Yes. For Dallas, you're constantly in the playoff picture as long as Dak stays healthy. Michael Parsons is one of the best edge rushers in the NFL. You can, talk yourselves into getting over that hump that you've been, trying to get over for a while.
Yeah.
For them, like it doesn't make sense for either of the organizations to trade them, especially with Washington. Like they got a new ownership group who seems to know what they're doing. Adam Peters is a smart general manager. And for all the things we want to say about the Joneses in Dallas, like they're not going to trade Micah because they know that would be dumb. So for all of that, it just feels very redundant to even talk about trade destinations because you and I and most people know they're not going anywhere.
They're not going anywhere. And you shouldn't be playing Moneyball with Terry McLaurin at this stage of your development if you're Washington.
Yeah.
Cowboys already kind of played Moneyball with Micah because they made him wait through a year. Yep. He played for them for a year on this slower contract, and he has to look at this right now saying, I don't have any guarantees beyond next year. They actually could lock on franchise to me next year, but if I get an injury, they could say, smell you later to me next year. Yeah. He really does have his own professional future to think about, and that's – Hendrickson came back like, oh, I guess I'm coming back to the Bengals, like it or lump it. And Micah might want to just consider saying like dock me.
Yeah.
Like, do whatever this takes at this point. I know it's very tricky because of the way the rights are set up, but do something because I can't go out there with no guarantees right now. And you guys saying you won't even speak to my agent.
Yeah, and we'll see how it goes, but I fully expect both players to be suiting up week 1 with their respective teams that they're currently part of, and all of this will be all for nothing. Welcome to August 1st of the NFL season. All right, let's talk about things that are going to happen this season. We're going to do AFC over-unders today, so we'll go through all 16 AFC teams, what the current over-unders are at FanDuel. Now, there's a few different things that you can pick in terms of if you want to take a little bit of a risk and get more bang for your buck, but we'll go through every team today. We'll start with the AFC East and the Buffalo Bills. Right now, if you look at the Bills, the closest thing to where they have the line set is about 11.5. If you go over 11.5, it's still only minus 165. If you go under 11.5, it's plus 140. This is a Bills team. Again, they're playing in arguably the easiest division. Well, I guess outside the AFC South, but we'll get to them. But an easy division that features probably 2 wins against the Jets, 2 wins against the Dolphins like they usually do. Maybe a split with the Patriots because I think New England will be pretty solid this year. But regardless, this is a team with Josh Allen. Did it last year with a lesser roster, and I think that they're going to be just fine. I would put them at around 12, 13 wins and competing for the 1 seed.
Yeah, 27th hardest, so whatever that is, 6th easiest schedule.
Yeah.
In the NFL, according to Football Outsiders FTN Almanac. Yeah, you pencil in 5-1, however you want to shake that, I think, in the division. I haven't looked at their schedule in a few weeks, but last time I looked at it, it's like, oh my gosh, there's like this cavalcade of very winnable games somehow put in there. I'd go over. I hate the fact that 11.5 over is minus 165.
Right, it's not great. So if you wanted to go over 12.5, that's plus 110.
Right, and you're looking at 13-4. Yeah, go big or go home. I would actually do it at 12.5 here. I don't see 10 wins happening unless you start doing the catastrophizing thing. This
right.
Is a very, very solid team, very easy schedule.
The second place team that I think will be in the AFC, I think it's going to be New England, and there's a lot of chances for plus money here. I think they can be a 10-win team and be like the number 6 or number 7 seed in the AFC playoffs. So if you go over 9.5 wins for New England, it's plus 190. If you think they're going to be really good and maybe 11-6, the over 10.5 is plus 340 right now at FanDuel. I would probably just stick with the 9.5 and be happy getting plus money there, because I think that they will be a 10-win team and be one of those wild card teams in the AFC.
That's a little high. I was listening to that plus 320. I feel like if you're a believer, you're a believer.
Right.
We have them at the 29th easiest schedule. The 30, whatever, yeah, 29th hardest. Right. So I'm just not a believer in this team. I see them in the soup with the Jets.
Okay.
Well, maybe the Dolphins are free falling in this.
Yeah. The Dolphins, I mean, they're trading for Darren Waller right now. Like they're doing really ridiculous things.
They're trading for Darren Waller, and he's getting injured immediately. Almost as if he's Darren Waller. And every single cornerback gets injured except for the ones that get like tackled by TSA for bringing guns to the air. You trade away Jalen Ramsey for Micah, who's really strictly a safety now. We can't pretend Micah can do much more than like do a little heavy slot stuff. And then you don't have any other corners. You don't have any other corners.
Who just got lost for the season as well. So like their cornerback room is really, really bad.
Storm Duck. It's the
Storm Duck. That sounds like one of those the generated names on College Football 25, like where they're just like, yeah, two random nouns put together for this guy.
Launchpad McQuack. You remember him? You know Launchpad? Are you familiar?
I'm not, but that's a silly name. No.
You know who Scrooge McDuck was?
I do know who Scrooge McDuck was, yes.
Well, he had like a private jet and all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he had a pilot.
I only know who Scrooge McDuck is because I never really watched the show, but like I watch all like the holiday specials, and he's in all of the Disney adaptations and whatnot. So that's my familiarity.
Yes, you know Scrooge as Scrooge because he's.
I do know Scrooge as Scrooge, yes, from Mickey's Christmas Carol.
He has a rich inner life. Let's put it this way.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, getting back from that, Patriots. I'm not going over on that. What's under?
Let's look at some unders for the Patriots actually. So if you want to go under 7.5, that's plus 130.
I just got to stay away from them. It's just like a 7-8 win. You can talk me into 9 wins for this team, but I think there's a lot of helium in the expectations around Drake Maye, around all these free agents that they brought in. Where I look at this free agent class and it almost looks like the Panthers free agent class.
Yeah.
But they're the Patriots and we expect them to do more than that.
My only thing with them is that Vrabel's a proven winner. I like Drake Maye a lot. Defensively, I think they're going to be very good. And I think that'll boost them up a little bit. An easy schedule as well. I think that'll
easy
help.
schedule is a thing.
Yeah. The Miami Dolphins, I already bet under 8.5 wins for them in a 4-team win parlay on FanDuel. It's at minus 195 right now. If you wanted to go under 7.5, if you think they're going to be like a 7-10 team, that's minus 120. You don't get plus money until you go under 6.5 wins. I don't think they'll be quite that bad, but I think 7-10, 6-11, that area is where I would put them.
The line is whispering to us all.
It's
moving down there. Right. Vegas sees what I see. The Almanac didn't see that. They got them around 500. I think there were last-second moves with the Ramsey trade in terms of the Almanac predictions. I'm not 100% sure. This is a team that if they hit our speed bump could fly apart. And I think we all see that. So I'd be looking for unders, but if the unders are like that, it's almost like you have to flip it the other way. If I'm going over 6.5, where am I on that? If
you go over 6.5, you're only at minus 175.
This is another team. If you're doing first coach fired,
that's a decent bet. Oh man. So I did a big write-up predicting the next year in advance and whatnot. And Mike McDaniel being fired, we did the podcast about it as well. You were here. Mike McDaniel being fired, feels like kind of a shoe-in at this point to happen at some point.
Right. I would put Dable and maybe Steichen in front of him on the firing line, so to speak, But I think, again, if there's a bet for it, this team is going to war and being a nonstop drama as of Halloween. The Dolphins are that team.
The Dolphins are like a Maserati with all the lights on the dashboard on, where it's like if they hit anything, they're absolutely fucked. And I wrote about it last year whenever they paid Tua and whatnot. I was like, this is a team that doesn't have winter tires. It's great when you're going 90 miles an hour in Miami in September. Good luck doing that in Kansas City, Buffalo, Baltimore, Pittsburgh. And we've seen they can't do it. So they would have been better investing in like a Ford Bronco. Instead, they went flashy and it's bit them in the ass. And that's kind of where they are now, is in like this right before pre-stages of a rebuild, where I think Chris Greer will be gone, Mike McDaniel will be gone, and they're just going to kind of blow this whole thing up and try again. So
yeah, and next week I got a thing coming at the defector. Why your team sucks. This is one of the Dolphins. I made a similar analogy. It's really close. I usually go with a Jaguar when I talk about going to fly apart. I got friends who drove Jaguars. Okay. An old guy, middle-aged man, midlife crisis routine that you find on the side of the road dead with them calling AAA. But like, and I lost my train of thought completely.
The Dolphins are a Jaguar?
It was something to do with all the guys that you hear when they played a year in Miami and then left.
Yeah, like they all just hate it.
Right. Deshaun Elliott, Poyer made some remarks. Fangio was like, "Get the hell out of here" as a coach. Like clearly, there's a culture there that is Looney Tunes, banana pants.
And for all we want to say about Jalen Ramsey and whatnot, there was like, I don't want to say hit piece put on him after he was traded, but he's like, oh, yeah, we showed up late and whatnot. He was toxic. And it's like, well, you know, a guy like Jalen Ramsey, yeah, he might talk a lot, but I don't recall there ever being like anything about him being like a bad teammate or anything like that prior to Miami. So it could have just been, yeah, he was also tired of it and done and couldn't see himself giving all of himself to this dumpster fire of a team.
And you had Tua and Tyreek made these statements, and there was all this back and forth. Yeah, top 5 quarterbacks, and Baker's on the list, and Tua isn't. And they put a microphone in front of Tua, and I think they're expecting him to say, "Hey, you know what? The past is past. We're good." And he's kind of like, "Yeah, you know, this is going to take some time for us to get over." Holy crap, dude! That is your number one target. If you are not on the same page, you pretend you're on the same page. Yeah, buddy, especially because your ass is on the banana peel as well.
Right. This isn't quite like Donovan McNabb, Terrell Owens, because Donovan was a made guy and he was a really good quarterback, and everybody kind of knew T.O. was a little, you know, cuckoo when it came to all the media attention and whatnot. It's very different when Tua's ass is on the line and he could very well be playing elsewhere next year if things don't go well. And that's just kind of the reality of it. Yeah, watching that, I think it was on NFL Network, just him saying, "Yeah, I don't know. We'll see." He was like, dude.
Right.
What are you doing?
Right. I'm going to pour a little gasoline on this and see how that goes. Great work, buddy.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to the Jets now. We spent enough time on the Dolphins. If you want to look at the Jets, I mean, they start getting into plus money when you go over 6.5 wins, which I think I would sprinkle perhaps a little bit on. If I think 7 wins is their absolute cap. But if you think they're going to reach it, plus 135 over 6.5 for the Jets could be worth doing.
Over 6.5?
Over 6.5.
Ooh, their schedule is not as easy relatively as the other schedules in the AFC East. Why? Because they have to play the Bills twice, and you have to play this Patriots team that we think is better. So we also have them at FTN Almanac Football Outsiders, 32nd ranked offense in the NFL.
Yeah, I mean, they don't, outside of Garrett Wilson, there's not a lot to really. Malachi Corley, he's there.
And Justin Fields, a quarterback. And
Justin Fields is there. He
injured the little piggy that ate roast beef at the beginning of camp, and we all held our breath for a second. By the way, I can't confirm which toe it was. They said it wasn't the big one.
I think it was the second toe in.
So this little piggy went to market.
This is the little piggy that went home, I think.
Stayed home. There's one that stayed home.
Yeah.
The one that stayed home. Well, I'm staying home. I think this is a 6-win team. I'm not going over 6.5. I think we got them at 5.9.
Oh, okay. So I mean, that's pretty like right in that neighborhood and whatnot. And I'm doing I'll make the announcement now. So I'm starting a Substack, and the first thing that I'm doing is quarterback superlatives for all 32 teams. And the superlative that I gave Justin Fields is most likely to have like 176-yard touchdown run that earns him another starting job somewhere. And you know that. I think Aaron Glenn and Tanner Angstrom and everybody know that, all right, we know he can run. He has some deficiencies when it comes to the passing game. We're not going to lean away from the run stuff like I think Pittsburgh kind of did. Right. We're going to lean into it and say, dude, first read, second read, not there, run. They're not covering you. Like, go. And I think we're going to see one of those like Bears-esque Fields runs where somebody next year, maybe Miami, whoever they hire, be like, I can fix him. I can do something with that, and he'll get a starting job next year. And that'll be what. Look, I like Justin Fields. Wish him nothing but the best, but. You know, I think we kind of know what he is at this point.
Right. And he is, you say, like him, wish him the best. I think he's getting a pretty good locker room reputation, which I think is helping him.
Which is good. He's never like anything bad coming out about him as like a bad teammate or a bad locker room presence. I mean, and the few interactions I had with him in Pittsburgh, he was always very cordial and very nice. So like, I have nothing bad to say about Justin Fields.
Right. So may he play until he's 38 and then sometime have this Geno Smith run at the end.
Right.
I finally figured it out, 34, and I can still run a little bit, go get like $80 million, make the playoffs. This is not that year.
Yeah. And look, I hope that Justin Fields does have that, but I don't foresee it happening. I don't see that happening either. Let's go to the AFC North. We'll start with Baltimore. They would be, and I've said this on a lot of shows, but I do think it is worth pointing out, no team since division realignment in 2001, no team has won the AFC North in 3 consecutive years. The Ravens are the favorites to win the division. It would be their 3rd consecutive year winning it, and they would be the first to do it. The first plus money. So plus money really comes from the unders when it comes to Baltimore. If you think they're going to go under 10.5 wins, that's plus 190. Really, I think that only happens if Lamar misses a few games, which, he has been known to do. Stayed healthy the last couple of years. But if, he suffers some sort of injury and he's out 2 games, that could help you there. Not that we'd ever wish for any injuries or anything like that. Under 11.5 wins would get you plus 110. And I think that's actually pretty solid value because in this division, 11-6 is pretty plausible. So that could be something to monitor for Baltimore.
Minus 110 on that?
Plus 110 under 11.5. So if you think they're going to go 11-6, you can make plus money.
That's a reasonable thing. Now, Football Outsiders has a very high, like a 12-win projection. Football, I keep saying the FTN, DVOA,
okay.
Aaron.
By the way, everybody can go and watch the show we did last week with Aaron. That's on the YouTube channel and on the podcast feed talking about FTN Almanac 2025. And go buy the book over at Amazon or at FTNFantasy.com.
Absolutely. And 12 wins in these projections is really kind of like a 13-win projection. They're built conservatively to a degree. Ranked with the number 1 offense. I think we have a 5th on defense right now. The issues are the strength of schedule and, like you said, things like the injuries.
Right.
I'm not going under on that team.
No.
Not when we have a 12 win. I would go like over 11.5, but the juice on that doesn't sound like it's very good.
It's not great. I will say this about Baltimore, though. I think you can make the argument they have the best roster in the NFL, and if they don't at least get to the Super Bowl this year, I'm done listening to people putting them in the Super Bowl bubble. I'm done. This is their last, all right, I'll give you this, and after that, don't talk to me about them.
There's a little bit, this is who you are, this is who you've chosen to become over the course of 5 years, 6 years, and of course, you're the 3rd banana because the Bills are the 2nd banana. Mm-hmm. And it's like, everything that we talk about, the legacy of Harbaugh, and of course he has led teams to Super Bowls, etc. The legacy of Jackson and all. You do have to do this thing. You have to reach it. You can't. This can't be the perennial. Well, gosh, golly, best team to ever not reach the AFC Championship game or whatever they would be.
Right.
That you don't get any banners for that. Not even.
And Nick Wright was on Mina's show recently, and he was kind of saying the same thing where it's like, oh, but look at their Week 12 DVOA. Hang the fucking banner. Like, who cares?
Right. We're the ones who do that. Like, oh, look at this. Number 1, one of the 5 best teams after Week 12. We don't expect anybody to give anybody a cookie for that.
Right.
We're doing that to say, well, look, projection-wise, this should be a team that wins next week or should clinch. And then you get into the playoff games, and then while they're facing the Bills or something like that, and it's 2 teams with all-time great DVOAs, and then it's like, well, go watch the game. Don't bet because it's really close. Yeah. And that's what you're up against.
And Aaron gave a really good stat pointing out that the last 5 years of the Bills and the last 5 years of the Ravens are the 2 best teams in the history of DVOA to not win a Super Bowl. So they're always in, like, they're going to kick ass in the regular season. They're going to probably win at least 12 games. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to the postseason, they consistently piss down their leg. And until it's proven that they won't, I can't really buy into this being the year that they won't. By the way, I'm really pushing this superlative piece because I want people to read it and I think it's funny. The superlative that I gave Lamar Jackson is most likely to have every excuse in the book made for him in January when the Ravens inevitably don't win a big game. So I'm looking forward to talking about that when everybody's like, actually, no, it wasn't his fault. He ruled. And
even when there's like these mistakes that you can spot along the way. Yeah. I would have gone with most likely a guy to throw a touchdown pass on week 1 and have somebody on Blue Sky say pretty good for a guy who should have been playing wide.
Yeah. Oh, that's so good. Oh my God. Can we retire that, by the way? Enough of that.
I mean, it's retired in my mind and heart for years and years and years. Okay. Who was it? Polian says this, and it's 2018. It
was almost 10 years ago. Let it go. Move on.
We have other fish to fry.
And Bill Polian, he did okay as an executive. I'll say that too.
Yeah. He had his moments of positivity. Yeah. I've had the chances to talk to him. There's more going on than that in his mind. He's not just sitting there
you have one quote though, and people hold on to it forever, and it's not necessarily fair to Bill Polian. So
being arch on the internet is not activism.
We're really beating a dead horse there. All right, let's go to Pittsburgh. They, last year I think their over under was set at 7.5, which was the easiest money I've ever made. And now it looks like it's hovering around 8.5. If you go over 8.5, it's plus money at plus 100. I already bet it, and I look forward to having that deposit hit my account in January.
Put me under.
Mike, come on. You are too smart to do this.
Put me under. Everyone's blank slating Aaron Rodgers. Well, Aaron Rodgers is just going to be like Roethlisberger was at the end. Or Aaron Rodgers, he's only threw 11 interceptions last year. Aaron Rodgers is a normal human being that we can treat like a normal human being. This is going to be a train wreck. This is going to be it. This is it. You're thin at running back. You have nothing at receiver besides freaking decaf Metcalf. You got this defense. That's fine. No. This team's going to fall apart.
And to be clear, I knew you and I were going to vastly disagree on this, and that's fine. We have all summer. Yes. And I don't want to reiterate too much of it because people who listen to Believe in Steelers are getting a double dose of me. Go and listen to that, by the way. So I'll just say what I've said all off season. He won 10 games with Kenny Pickett. Don't think if this is the year that they fall off a cliff, I'll be very surprised. I'm not going to say it's a 0% chance it happens because we've seen obviously things happen in football. I would just be very, very surprised if this year with a really good defense, at least on paper, by the way, being at Latrobe, Jalen Ramsey, I like what I see very much. Dude, I was skeptical. And again, it's training camp, and most of it's been in shorts. The grains of salt that we have to talk about, but defensively, they look very good. And if Aaron is the 19th best quarterback in football, I think that they can win 10 games again minimum. If they can get to 11, which I'm really holding out hope for, and play the AFC South winner, I really like their chance of winning a playoff game. But, it is August 1st, and I'm allowing myself to be optimistic.
Is Rodgers normal person practicing?
Yeah.
Normal veteran. Okay.
Yeah. He hasn't had any sort of off days yet or anything like that. I'll give you the quick report here. I was there the first 3 days. Day 1, little clunky. Day 2, pretty solid. Day 3, best of both worlds. It's clear that, by the way, bet over DK Metcalf props. It's just going to be the DK Metcalf show with the occasional dabble of Pat Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith. You'll be happy to hear this, though. They ran 0-4 personnel the last couple days with Jonnu Smith lined up next to Aaron Rodgers, and apparently he got a toss. Already, Art, knock it off.
And you're saying over.
I mean, look, dude.
You're saying we got a solution for the backup to Jalen Warren. It's Jonnu Smith.
No. Caleb Johnson's going to be the number 2 to Jalen Warren. I'm fine with that.
So you're going to have Darnell Washington, Jonnu Smith, Freiermuth. Who's the 4th tight end here?
Potentially Connor Hayward because his last name's Hayward.
Right. There's always somebody last name Watt or Hayward who's the 4th.
Dude, and that let me go on a rant about that real quick. I hate it because when Terrell Edmonds was there, they had his little brother on the roster. Yes. Obviously, Derek Watt was on the roster for a little bit with TJ, and now Connor Hayward, who if his last name was Smith, would be the regional manager of AutoZone somewhere right now. No disrespect to Connor Hayward. I know that was mean, but come on. I don't need to see Connor Hayward offensive snaps for the Steelers.
And while I would take a touchdown over on DK or something like that, your number 1 and number 2 receiver is a guy who only does one thing, and that's run real fast and jump real high.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear what they're going to do with DK. It's the 9 balls off play action. It's quick slants. He's not going to run, a lot of intermediate. He's not really known for a refined route tree, and we know that.
Right. And no one is.
We'll see. We'll see with guys like Roman Wilson. We'll see who they bring in, if they bring anybody in. But they've won a certain amount of games with far worse rosters in recent memory. So I'm going to be cautiously confident in what this season could hold for Pittsburgh.
All right. I'm not touching that. Not touching that with your money.
I already did. All right. Let's go to the Bengals. For the historical outlook of this and whatnot. I've said that I picked the Bengals to win the division this year simply because of the historical, no one's ever won it 3 years in a row. Sometimes things like happen in the regular season. I think they went 500 last year when they scored more than 30 points. I feel like naturally that will go a little bit more towards the mean rather than it being so far south for them. If you want 9.5, the over 9.5 is -110. If you want under -9.5, it's -110. So equal value there. It looks like FanDuel and the books see 9.5 is kind of the line for Cincinnati. I would go over.
They're around 9 in the projections for the FTN Almanac. I lean back and forth. This Hendrickson situation has me a little clocked.
It is a little bit weird. He did report though.
He did report he's somebody who could discover a hamstring injury at any time.
Yeah, I got a cold. I'm not. I can't go out there.
Right. And and it's like, is it the guy with the work habits and the desire to win? I don't know, because this is such a toxic situation in this case. Defense is so bad. You talk about going back to the mean with the big score games. Yeah, I think it has to, based on the numbers you're describing. Like scoring over 40 points, you should be winning these games. I don't know how far it goes. I would lean under with the Cincinnati Bengals, based on the idea that this is a 3-man, NBA squad.
3 parentheses 4 question mark close parentheses squad, where defensively, they're going to be leaning on rookies Shamar Stewart and Demetrius Knight, who, by the way, Shamar Stewart had his own stuff going on this offseason that got resolved. But yeah, secondary wise, there's a lot of concerns there. Taylor Britt's their best player, but even then he had a down year a season ago. Geno Stone was brought over from Baltimore and didn't really live up to that hype. So there's a lot of question marks there. Al Golden has a lot of pressure on him as a first-year defensive coordinator. I would still say, again, there were so many games last year where they scored a boatload of points and they lost. I think they get one of those back that puts them at 10-7, and I think that's probably where I would put them at roughly right now.
Wait a week or 2 or 3 and see if the Hendrickson situation finds a resolution. If he's in some kind of contract. If he settles down, if he gives some remark like, well, this is my future at stake, and therefore I'm going to get 20 sacks. And okay, maybe I'll take that over.
Yeah, that's fair. If you were a player, like a superstar player, and you had to choose to play for the Cowboys or Bengals, which one would you choose? Yeah, see, you think twice about it.
Let's see. Do I want the two-way mirrors like I'm in some creepy strip joint when I'm working out? Or do I want to have to cross an interstate to get to my practice facility?
Which, by the way, the Bengals have taken away the privileges of recording players coming into the practice field because of that. So you can't
going over train tracks and stuff like that. It's like what I used to do when I was a teenager, to go drinking. That's how you have to get to the Bengals practice facility.
And Bengals media are frustrated about it because one of their things is okay, if the player walks up the hill and he's dealing with an injury, he's doing okay. If he walks around it, then he's dealing with something pretty serious. And they're like, damn, we can't talk about it anymore.
And think about this from the stage of the Packers, the press lines up with the bicycles for the guys coming in. It's this beautiful tradition. In Steelers camp, a lot of times they'll go around the old seminary and down the hill. Yeah. You get pictures of the guys. And it's fans like seeing that as reporters. You're you get to eyeball the guys. You're not even allowed to do this. You're not allowed to do this. What are we? Why are we a exciting professional entertainment industry if we're we got to limit whether they see these guys in their street clothes or something like that, because we don't want to show them going past the bus terminal to get the work.
I would probably pick Dallas because at least Dallas makes changes. The Bengals haven't had much success in the last 25 years, and they've had 2 head coaches in that span. Duke Tobin's been there since the Clinton administration. It's just one of those things where it's okay, this is more of a entertainment hobby for them than it feels like it is about winning sometimes. Let's go to the Browns. Why not? Let's just really just bang that dead horse into the ground. Over 3.5 is -250. Under 3.5 is +210. So if you think they'll go 3-14 again, you can get good money there. I don't think they'll be that bad. I think 5-6 wins is where I would put Cleveland. So if you went over 5.5, it's +135.
Over 5.5?
Over 5.5 +135.
For +135.
Not bad, right?
And the sicko element of things, and it's you're dealing quarterbacks on a weekly basis. Say. It's we threw Flacco out there for a month, and it was 1-3. Now we're going to surprise you with Dylan Gabriel, and you get the other win or 2. And of course, Myles Garrett all the time is giving you all these sacks.
Right.
So your defense is giving you some chances to win by a score of 16-13 or something like that with a Flacco.
And I think that their defense will bounce back a little bit. And I think a lot of the defensive issues last year is that they were on the field constantly. And so that'll beat you down one way or the other. I think that the offense will be a little bit better, which by default, the defense should be a little bit better player wise. Like they've got a lot of talent on that side of the ball. But when the week 1 game last year against Dallas was prime example of that, the offense didn't get a first down until like the 3rd quarter or something outrageous like that. So like, what can you expect from the defense at that point?
Right. And they have the 5th toughest schedule in the NFL, and that's what gives me pause.
Not great.
Yeah, I would look for a sicko bet like that, like down
could be fun
range. And don't put a lot in it, but it's like if you believe this idea, and it's like, well, maybe Pickett comes out and is a professional, maybe Shador comes out with something to prove and has these like wacky storyline-y Tebow-y type games, which Lord be happening. Then you get to 6 wins and you win decent money on 5.5. I don't hate that.
Yeah, I think that could be one of the more fun bets that you could look at. If you think that they're going to win more than 6 games, that's plus 240. I don't know if I would go that far, but 5.5 feels like a fun one.
No. That would have to be like you're betting on a Kirk Cousins trade at the last second.
Right. And even then, like it would take it would take a little bit to even get the best out of Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins, and they threw in Drake London for you for some reason.
Terry Fontenot was just like, yeah, whatever. Take whatever you want. I don't care. I traded a 1st round pick to trade back into the 1st round for James Pierce. I could not give less of a shit. Go ahead.
I needed that 1st round pick back. So I trade. Like, why? Why did you need the 1st round pick back? What are you doing? What direction are you going in?
They're a weird team. Let's go to the AFC South. We'll start with Houston. I think most people are penciling them in to win the division again. Yeah. I'm hesitant on that. When you look at the line right now, that would get you the best money. Over 9.5 wins gets you plus money at plus 100. I think that they'll be hovering right around there. I think that they have a high ceiling or high floor, low ceiling where they could, the floor is like 9 wins because I think the defense will be really good. Stroud's still awesome. He just doesn't have a lot of help around him. That offensive line has brought in a bunch of like Devil's rejects to protect him after last year. But I do think that floor-wise, it's a 9-win team. Ceiling-wise, it's an 11-win team.
We have them right around between 8 and 9 wins at the FTN Almanac, which gives me the impression I want to go under on this. Again, for fear of the offensive line, basically. I know the defense will be pretty good. I'm just looking at the odds to win the division, and they're plus 110, and I am not touching that.
I agree, because I'm not picking them to win the division. I'm going to pick the Jaguars to do it very hesitantly.
I mean, I get it. Like, I'm not super like Jaguars centric, but you get plus 290.
Yeah, I mean, it's good money. And the last time that Trevor Lawrence played a full season, they won the division, they won a playoff game in incredibly historic fashion and put up a good fight against Kansas City and Arrowhead. In 2023, they were sitting at 8-3, and then Trevor got a CVS receipt of injuries, and they still asked him to do everything, and he just couldn't. And then last year, everybody was checked out by week 4. So, like, once he got, I think it was a shoulder issue, they're like, yeah, put Mac Jones out there. Who gives a shit? Right. So I think Liam Cohen did a lot for Baker Mayfield. I would agree with the people who say, well, you can't just expect that for Trevor Lawrence, and that's fine. But I do think a better full season for Trevor Lawrence will come of this with Brian Thomas, who's proven to be a really good receiver. We'll see with Travis Hunter. I still think that trade was stupid. But defensively, I think they're also going to be better. They brought in Jerry and Jones in the secondary. And I think that unit as a whole, they have good pass rushers. They have good linebackers. I think that they'll rebound with a grown-up coaching staff who's bought in rather than checked out by week 4. Doug's looking at, vacations that he's going to take after he gets fired or whatever it was. So I think I'm going to pick the Jaguars to win the division. Let me pull up what the odds of, in terms of wins look like. But considering I'm picking them to win the division, over 8.5 wins for the Jaguars is plus 150. I think I like that.
Oh, do that.
Yeah.
Do that. I'd say take that over the division win, although the division win juice is good, because I can see the Texans, pure defense, Stroud running around in circles like a madman, lofting some passes up there to Nico and everybody like that, getting to 10, or the Jaguars also getting to 10. Was it 9.5 you have to go over?
8.5, 9.5, over 9.5 will get you plus 250.
That's good, but also you can do the division.
Yes.
But all you have to do is get to 9.
All you got to do is get to 9, and it's a lot of plus money, plus 150. So that's pretty good.
The thing about Cohen is it's a million screens. It's screens on top of screens on top of screens.
It's a lot of cliff ball with Cohen.
Right. But it's all intricately designed. I was looking at some of the videos coming out of the camp. They really practice the street screens in unique ways in terms of getting linemen in front of people. And when you start looking at the talent, you look at an ETN, you look at Hunter as a receiver who's just going to get ball in space. Like if that's how he's used, you do have Thomas, the deep
Brian Thomas. Yeah.
Brian Thomas, the deep threat. You have all these guys there. You touched on it, how Peterson and Press Taylor and those guys tended to be like, well, details will take care of themselves. You do a detail-oriented thing with them, you get decent defense. Their schedule is far easier. I don't know why their schedule is far easier than the Texans' schedule is.
I think it's just because they finished with a horrible record, so they got a few more cupcake games.
They got a couple more cupcake games there. I'd stay away from the Texans. Jaguars, play some of those overs.
Yeah, and I think I'm a little bit higher on Trevor than most. I don't know where you fall with Trevor right now, but there's not 12 guys in the league I would take over him.
Yeah, I watched Doug Peterson just sort of like, with Carson. Now, Carson had his own issues.
Right.
But then I would watch Trevor Lawrence and I'd be like, look, this looks like it's working well. It's just like it was completely mistimed. Like these plays don't have any rhythm to them. These short yardage situations, the most insanely stupid stuff happens. And I look at the way he plays, like he should be better than this. Yeah. He can be fine-tuned.
Yeah.
Like all that there.
I think that we could see a big bounce back year from him. I don't know if he would qualify for comeback player of the year, but he did miss time last year with injury. So I think that he would qualify for that. Maybe sprinkle some juice on that if he's one of the options at your respective sports book.
Yeah. And the injury thing now is just sort of like the gotcha game. It's like, well, that's our excuse to give the guy comeback player of the year.
Right.
Is he got hurt for a while there because you're not allowed to do it if you didn't get hurt. So.
Right. Yeah. It can't be this guy used to suck and played well award.
No, and suck, and like he was buried by everyone and was in these terrible situations. And any of these things that humans understand are part of a comeback. You have to be like the AI and like does not calculate.
Well, it's because Damar Hamlin died and they gave comeback player of the year to Joe Flacco because he played for the Jets and then had a nice year with the Browns.
To be clear, it's because he played.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
I mean, again, there's the whole Hamlin thing. I recognize that. He didn't play. He didn't.
Completely fair point.
Right. He played 20 snaps. So like, I get it. It's, anyway, I always give the example. Foster Moreau overcame cancer.
He did. Yep.
He got 0 votes for this. And he was out there playing tight end and catching passes and things like that. It should be about the player, not so much the comeback.
I can agree with that. We'll go to the Colts where weird team. Where roster-wise, I like a lot of what they have. It's just quarterback-wise, I can't buy more than like 6-7 wins for them.
Yeah.
When I did the first exercise of predicting every game, I had them going 5-12. And the second exercise, I know they're going to get more than that because I do like Shane Steichen, and I think Lou Anarumo is a good defensive coordinator despite what went down in Cincinnati. So I think they're hovering in that 6-7 range for me. If you go over 6.5 wins, it's still only -165. If you go over 7.5, that's where you finally get plus money at plus 100. I'm not touching the Colts.
Ew.
Yeah, not good.
What about unders?
Unders, if you go under 6.5 wins, it's plus 140. So if you think they're going to go 6-11, maybe that's something you sprinkle a little bit on.
Yeah, I mean I think they're on the right around the seven win number there, and that's again you deal the 2 quarterbacks and you get like one Richardson on highlights alone win, and you get Daniel Jones manufacturing a field goal heavy win with the good defense, with the good skill positions players. Just can't elevate them past that.
Let me pull up the superlative I have for Richardson because I think that you'll appreciate it. The exact wording. So Anthony Richardson, most likely to have his yards per attempt and completion percentage be the same number. Where he's going to average like 26 yards per attempt, but he's also only going to complete like 7 of 30 per game.
Right. They're both at 8.4 or something like that. Oh my God. I was going for like NFL's deepest voice.
Yeah, he sounds like the Allstate guy.
Yeah, most likely to retire, to take over as the voice of Darth Vader upon retirement. Never look back to the NFL.
Although I will say, my friend Jake Arthur, who covers the Colts for on the Sports Illustrated beat, has been pretty. I don't want to say saying Richardson's going to have a big bounce back year, but yesterday in practice posted a few clips of really nice deep ball from Richardson. There was a really insane catch from Tyler Warren as well. So I think Tyler Warren, that's a very fun player. I don't know how much impact the tight end's going to have on your win-loss record outside of maybe like one absurd game that he has. But they do have some fun players on that roster. It's just a matter of I can't buy into Daniel Jones. I know he stinks. Anthony Richardson, like incredibly athletic and physically gifted, but quarterback wise, there's so much just rawness there. I just can't buy in.
Right. And the chance that this turns into a big cluster hump, and Richardson's maturity issues didn't solve themselves because there's a little bit of that going on.
Yeah.
And Steichen gets caught in the crossfire. New ownership here where you have Carly Ursay deciding she wants her people in charge, firing Ballard, firing Steichen. A lot of other variables like that to keep in the wind.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there, and obviously, we'll see how the first season post Jim Irsay passing goes. Wish nothing but the best for them. Who's the other team? The Tennessee Titans, of course. See, even I forget that they drafted Cam Ward. My apologies, Tennessee fans. I think that they'll be better. I don't know if I believe in Brian Callahan though as a head coach. I think this could be a very I believe in Ward. And forgive this analogy, but I think that this could be a very Mora Manning situation where they know that they have the quarterback, but the head coach just isn't the guy, and they go and try to find somebody else. If you think over 6.5 for the Titans, if you think they can get to 7 wins, that's plus 120. Over 5.5, though, is only minus 140. So there's that middle ground where you just don't really get it. If you go under 5.5 wins, though, that's plus 120. So if you see a 5-12 season, which would still be an improvement from last year, that would get you plus money. Under 6.5 is only minus 140. So not a lot of juice with the Titans.
Yeah, we have them at around 6 wins. I still think 5 is a little bit more like it. I look at the receiver core and I cry.
It's Calvin Ridley, prehistoric Tyler Lockett.
Yes, and Jefferson.
They also drafted Elik Ayamanor out of Stanford, who a lot of people liked and were surprised that he went as low as he did.
Yeah, he's the official Stanford jump high guy.
Which is quite literally he run blocks like hell and he jumps high. That'll be get a couple jump ball touchdowns in the red zone and open up some lanes for Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears. I think he's going to be their starting Z. Right.
One of those other guys is either Lockett or Jefferson is going to kind of go by the wayside.
Van Jefferson will be on the roster because they have to have 53 people. So he'll be there for sure.
That's an example of a guy you just say, no, we don't need that. We are a rebuilding team. We can have an undrafted free agent that we're messing around with. Defensively, I know there's some talent there. It's a team that you just they evaporated from my brain as of about week 3 or 4 last year.
I saw somebody say, can you name 3 Titans defenders? And I think I can. It's Jeffrey Simmons, who's the easy one to name.
Yes.
L'Jarius Sneed, also pretty easy. Tavondre Sweat.
Nice.
Outside of that, no, Kevin Winston Jr., safety out of Penn State. They also drafted him this year. That's 4.
Ball player when he's healthy.
Yes.
Arden Key? Is Arden Key on them?
Oh, I think Arden Key is there. Let me double check. I think you might be right that Arden Key is there. Arden Key is
no, yeah, he is.
Yes, he is. So that's 5.
Okay, now I'm looking at their roster, so it's no longer a thing.
Okay.
Sebastian Joseph Day. Remember when he was supposed to be something?
Oh, yeah, I do. I didn't know Sebastian Joseph Day was there. Who else do they have on their defensive line?
Oh, God. Let me pull it up right quick. Well, they have Simmons. Tavondre Sweat, who was a guy out of Texas last year, 2nd-round pick, probably a decent player. They drafted Aladagio this year. They've got
a kid out of UCLA, yeah.
Right. I mean, they're showing a 3-4 here. James Lynch, Cam Horsley. I don't know who these people are.
I have no idea who those guys are.
Right. And at linebacker, you got Cody Barton, who was with the Broncos.
Yeah, he's fine.
James Williams, who I think is just a name. Draymond Jones, who wasn't Draymond Jones with the
wasn't Draymond Jones a Seahawk at one point?
He was a Seahawk, certainly. I thought he was he was a Bronco too.
He might have been. Let me look at his PFR page.
Rugged, edge rushy,
yeah,
but play the run well guy, but isn't gonna.
Draymond Jones was with Denver from 2019 to 2022.
Yes.
Who's the cornerback opposite of Sneed right now? Because Jadobi Awuzie played bad and is gone.
Yes, Chibi's gone.
Who?
I got all here. So we got L'Jarius Sneed, Jarvis Brownlee. No idea, honestly.
Oh, Jarvis Brownlee. Is that a rookie? Or is
that is a 5th-round pick last year?
Okay.
Roger McCreary, who has
McCreary. Oh, he was a draft pick a few years ago.
Yeah, he was a 2nd-round pick a couple of years ago. Again, these guys, and it's if you're a Titans fan, it's you don't know, you don't watch the film on these guys. No, you know what? After about week 6, I'm not doing breakdowns of Roger McCreary,
right?
Mason Plumlee or Jarvis Brownies or whatever.
Mason Plumlee,
right? I'm kind of it's Will Levis just got hurt again, and here's Mason Rudolph, and it's I can kind of wait I got other things to worry about here. You know,
right.
I'm going to go, figure out why the Vikings are winning. So
I think if they find out that Cam Ward is good, that's a successful season. It's not so much about wins for them this year. It's about, can Cam Ward be the guy, and is he the guy? And if they find that out one way or the other this year, good job. Hopefully he is the guy. We'll wrap this up with the AFC West. Obviously, we'll go to Kansas City, where they're going to win a bunch of games because they always do. Yep. Let's see. The over 11.5 wins would get you plus money at plus 110. They're gonna win at least 12 games.
We have a 10.6.
Okay, so right around that.
Okay, we have really good ratings for them, offensive, defensively, special teams, of course. Very difficult schedule. I'm inclined partially to think under. We're up at the 12.5 range. I think this could be like an 11-6 type of team. But it's more a matter of, like, I would be looking at something where it's like, if I'm thinking that way, I'm thinking more in terms of a Bills Super Bowl prop or something like that.
Right.
Like, I don't think the Chiefs will be that good, but I can't find a number for it. So instead, I'm going to try and pivot and say, this means I should be betting something on the Bills or the Ravens or somebody like that.
Right. And if you really felt confident in them to go like 13-4, the over 12.5 is plus 190. But if you want to take the under 11.5, it's minus 130. So not a ton there. If you think they're going to go 10-7, which I just don't see happening, the under 10.5 is plus 140. So that's probably the closest thing you can get to like a bet where I can see where you're coming from. They're going to win in my mind at least 11.
Yeah, there's not enough juice on. Well, they'll miss the playoffs. They're not going to miss the playoffs. No. So, they're vulnerable in the division more than usual, but not enough for me to bet one of the other teams. It just takes juice away from the. Actually, what are we getting the Chiefs to win the division? Maybe there's some action there.
Oh, perhaps.
In the division, they are at AFC West minus 120. That's fine. Yeah, I was expecting maybe at least like 115, 110, considering how many people are going to talk themselves into Denver and think that Bo Nix is the second coming, or think that Geno Smith is going to turn around the Raiders, or that, man, no, this is actually the year that the Chargers do something worth a shit. Like, so it appears that Vegas knows that, no, it's the Chiefs. So fair enough. Right. I almost want to look around at because they'll sometimes do make it to the second round of the playoffs.
Oh, okay. That's pretty good. Yeah.
I don't want to go looking all that up, but like if you're in this headspace that I'm in, it's like these are the more vulnerable version of the Chiefs. They're kind of in a little, they're probably going to go like this at the top of the standings until Mahomes goes away, but they're literally like the low end and the high end. Find some kind of bet around that.
Until I see them like fail to make the AFC title game, I can't like not think that they're going to be there. It's very annoying. I would love nothing more than to see a little bit more parity in the AFC, but hopefully this will be the year. Let's go to Denver, where I think that the defense is going to be very good again. I don't think, we talked about this with Aaron, where defense is going to be good. Very unlikely that they'll go back-to-back seasons with the number one defense in the NFL. Still probably be a top 5 unit, but there's just going to be some natural regression that happens. Mm-hmm. And I think there's going to be some natural regression with Bo Nix and the offense. Cortland Sutton just got paid. That's great. Mm-hmm. Outside of him, it's Devon Vele and Marvin Mims. Yeah. And it's just like, Marvin Mims fine, like number 3 or 4, but like, I don't think Spags is staring at a ceiling at 2 a.m. saying, how the hell am I going to stop Marvin Mims? Like, I think that they are going to hover between 8 and 9. That's kind of where I have them. If you go over 8.5 wins, it's only minus 150. If you go under 8.5 wins, though, for the Broncos, it's plus 125. And that's some stuff. That's some good juice for me that I might take.
You could talk me into that. I'd be inclined to go over 8.5. But once you get to the 9.5 number, I'm not comfortable with it. A lot of additions on defense, and that's why I'm sure Aaron talked about it. FTN has them second projected in defense.
Yeah.
Just on offense, it's like the guy. I wanted to see the guy. I don't think Cortland Sutton is really the guy.
Cortland Sutton's a very good receiver, but like on a great team, I don't think he's the number 1.
Right. You have like this pantheon or Mount Rushmore or whatever, and then you've got the guys that he lands in.
Yeah.
Secondary to that. So without that, oh my God, they supercharged the offense for Knicks. Without that human, Evan Ingram is not that human.
No.
I'm very like this is the wild card soup. This is what it looks like in the AFC.
The wild card soup. Yeah, that's they will be in that group of teams that is like in November, they're in the hunt graphic with like every team except two are in, they'll be in that for sure.
Right.
All right. That's kind of where I fall on Denver. Not a whole lot there. Let me see if I can find anything else for people who like, if you're really bought into Denver though, let's talk about that though, because over 10.5 wins get you plus 180. If you think they're just going to continue to build off this and get one more win than they did last year, maybe that's worth playing.
That's not that terrible though. 11,
not bad.
11 wins. You say, okay, well, Raiders turned into fool's gold. You split. Actually, it's hard because I get stuck on 3-3 in the division.
I do too. I will say this: they're better than the Chargers. Okay. As much apprehensions as I have with Bo Nix and whatnot, and whatever that may look like, team wise, like I trust them more than I trust the Chargers to do anything worth a shit. So let's talk about the Chargers after I just buried them real quick. I would put them probably around the same range, maybe a little bit less. Over 8.5 wins only get you minus 175, but if you go under 8.5 wins, it's plus 150 if you think they're going to go around that 8-9 mark.
And here we have it again. This is not me being like some basher here.
Sure.
A 7.8 win projection.
There you go.
From Football Outsiders. So that would say that under with all that juice would be one to take.
I would take that. And it's just because, like, I've talked about it a lot this summer. They're building this team like it's like they're trying to be like the 60s Browns. It's like, dude, you got to throw the football. Like, Harbaugh always talks about, oh man, Justin Herbert's awesome. They get him to somebody to throw the ball to. Like, Ladd's great. Like, I love Ladd. That's fine. You need more than one dude who can create separation, and they don't have that. It's very frustrating.
Right. I just talked about how the Broncos don't have the guy. The Chargers don't have the guy. Yeah. Right. And now I'm looking at the defense here, and you sleep a little bit on, Khalil Mack's getting a little old.
Right. Like, he's their top pass rusher.
Asante Samuel just disappeared.
He's a free agent still. He's got a neck issue.
Right. So I have a cornerback group of Dante Jackson, Tarheeb Still, and Cam Hart.
If Dante Jackson's your number one corner, as a Steelers fan, I'll tell you, good luck.
Right. There's some guys in here. I actually like Tuli Tiapolotu. I think he can step up and do some of the stuff Bo's asked.
Henley at linebacker is like pretty good.
He's fun. Derwin James is still out there. He still plays at a pretty high level. When you got those things at cornerback, if you look at how the Chargers won so many games last year, they were not playing the toughest schedule along the way. And they were taking leads and were able to sort of run the ball and let Herbert kind of just like pick his shots a little bit and had these very easy victories against teams like the Saints. And if you take that away, it's like, okay, now it's legitimate shootout time. You're not going to get that against maybe you do get that against Bo Nix. Who knows?
I think when it comes to them having to win shootouts, they have the gun, they don't have the ammunition.
They don't have the gun, they don't have the ammunition, and they don't have whatever it takes, like the barrier to hide behind on their defense. Because I don't think that defense, when it's facing better quarterbacks, is going to be have enough pass rush or have enough on the back end.
I completely agree. So that's where I'm at with the Chargers. If you're on the other end of that spectrum, though, and you think the Chargers are going to be awesome, I'll still give you a little bit here. If you think they're going to go over 10.5, that's plus 160. Over 9.5 is minus 105. So even still like a little bit there. But if you think they're going to be awesome, maybe look at the 10.5 a little bit closer.
Right. And this is where we are with this team every year.
Right.
Whenever you say the Chargers, this is the year Herbert, this is the year whatever. What does it mean in terms of a prop bet? And then you start talking, well, 9.5 looks a little. Yeah. Then what are we talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
All right. So the Las Vegas Raiders, everybody seems to really be bought into the Raiders because they added Geno Smith and Pete Carroll. I am not one of those people. I think naturally they will be better, certainly, because it's an upgrade over Antonio Pierce at head coach with Aiden O'Connell and Gardner Minshew. Yeah. But again, I think the Chargers, Broncos, and Raiders, the Broncos would be the best out of the three, but I think Chargers and Raiders specifically, that 7-8 win territory, where, they're not a horrible team, but they're not a good team either. So I would put them, if you go under 6.5 wins, it's plus 100. I don't think they're going to quite be that bad. If you go over 7.5 wins, though, it's plus 140. So again, it's that weird middle ground. There's not a lot of great juice for the Raiders.
Right now, the Football Outsiders have FTN Almanac. We have them about 8.3. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to see what the main thing is. Strong defense, middle of the pack offense, middle of the pack, everything else along the way. I could see 8 and 9. You can definitely talk me into, again, like if this is where we're setting our expectations at, be like, yay, Raiders 8-9.
Yeah.
I could take that over. I could consider it. I can see it with Max Crosby doing his thing, Ashton Jeanty doing this thing where he, goes out there and keeps all these games close with like being the bell cow, Geno Smith providing professionalism, all this stuff with Carroll and Kelly, etc. If you have to try and talk me past that, I don't know what we're even talking about.
I agree.
You can talk me into 8 wins.
Yeah. But if you do think the Raiders are going to be that, if you want to go over 9, oh my Lord. Over 9.5 wins for the Raiders is plus 420.
Oh my God.
That's absurd.
Wait, that's tempting.
That's FanDuel saying, go ahead, do it.
10 wins and I get plus 420.
That's pretty crazy, is it not?
Note that it's 420.
It is 420 because you got to be high off your ass to even think that they're going to get there, I guess. But that's insane.
I got to look at the schedule more closely now because this is like the sicko bet love language for the ages here.
I might just have to do it and turn into a Raiders fan this year. Just hope to God that I'm wrong. That's incredible.
All right. So you start against the Patriots. Let's call that a win. You have the Chargers. The Chargers at we're going to do midnight with the Chargers. My favorite thing.
Midnight with what? Is that a Monday night game?
They used to have those Monday night games where it would be
the Monday night double headers. Yeah.
And they were always the Chargers in the late game, and we're going to have that. Let's see.
Yeah, because they did it usually like week 1 or week 2, and then the Chargers Raiders game would always be called by Mike Greenberg and Mike Golick, which was the best. It was awesome.
Wait a minute, dude. Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Ready? Week 18 Chiefs. Chiefs could be resting everybody.
It could be Gardner Minshew starting against the Raiders.
This schedule is sicko bait for 10 wins at plus 420. I mean, I am not advising anyone else to. It's all these AFC South teams where it's like, well, you catch the Jaguars right after your bye, you beat them. You get the Colts early in the season. That's at Indianapolis, so that's a little bit more of a problem. You get the Titans. You get your Bears. You're at home against the Bears early in the season. So if you think that Johnson's system's going to take time,
yeah, you
got the Browns on the schedule.
Man, it's so. I think I might just do it.
I think we're. This is like a blood pact of stupid. I am not putting more than $10 on it.
No. It's not going to be like, I'm not going to throw 100 on it, but like 10, 15. Yeah. Why not?
$10 to make $40 and like buy myself a big plate of wings. And
there you go.
Probably do it. Let's do it.
I think that's the official. I'm going to lock in betting like $15 to $20 on the Raiders going over 9.5 wins at plus 420. That is insane. Absolutely insane.
I got to do like 2 forms of what do you call it? You have to send a text message. I can't do that online.
Right.
I'll do it as soon as we log off.
Yeah. And I'm trying to look at other ones. Like that's absolutely as far as I'll go. I would never go. I'm not going over 10.5 for the Raiders, but if you really like them, it's plus 700 at over 10.5. If you're a real Raiders believer, throw some change on it and you could get rewarded. That's whoa. My goodness, what a way to
the Week 18 Chiefs game that has it's like singing.
They're going to be sitting at 9-7, and we're going to be glued to Geno Smith versus Gardner Minshew, like our lives depend on it.
And Carroll's going to be out there, rah rah, as a spoon bond. Chip Kelly's like, I'm going to be a head coach again in my Genty will be going for offensive rookie of the year, and they'll be running him in Week 18 against like third string defenders.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's going to make Week 18 so stupid.
That's going to be the most absolutely. Well, I just gave myself a reason to like be locked into Week 18, so I'm happy about that. And
we'll remind each other on this. Again, I'm going to put this bet in as soon as we unclick here.
Absolutely. Well, that is the entire AFC in terms of over/under predictions. I don't think we did the North, we did the East, did this. Yeah, we went through the entire AFC. Oh man, what a way to end it. What do you got coming on Too Deep Zone?
My brain is fried right now. Okay, first of all, my most recent thing, I made it specifically to crack up like you and JP Acosta.
Oh, good.
The image that I use. You can go through my Blue Sky feed and you'll find it.
I get the email every time you write something, so I'll click it.
At the picture because it's
okay.
A little Travis Hunter. What could he possibly be feature? And I came up with a funny graphic for it.
Okay.
Next week is the preseason viewers guide. where I've gone through every team's preseason schedule. I've gone through all 32 teams. I ranked the 32 NFL teams based on the watchability from, dear God, throw a brick through your television rather than watch this game, to, if it's on and you want to see the Colts battle, the Richardson versus Dimes battle, that might be kind of fun for 45 minutes. Pour yourself a beer. So I rank all 32 teams. What do you got coming up?
Like I said, I've started the Substack. The first piece has not come out yet, but the Substack is called The Snap. It's a little bit, just if you've read my stuff, you know what it's like. It's just a little bit more. I was a little bit more swearing and whatnot because it's just owned by me, so I can be a little bit more explicit with how I talk and whatnot. And then the first piece will be coming out very soon. It'll be before the end of the week. It's superlatives for all 32 teams' quarterbacks. We talked about it a little bit on the show, so that'll be coming out very soon. Again, the Snap is the new Substack for me. And again, it's something where you can, it's just a little dabble and whatnot. If you want to, support me and throw, I think I made it the lowest, but it's like $3 or $4. If you want to support me doing that, then great. It's just something I can come to every once in a while when I'm feeling very fun and creative and throw something on there for people to read and laugh at. But the Snap is the Substack, and quarterback superlatives will be coming there. Follow all the work as well at Behind the Steel Curtain, all the Steelers coverage, as well as all the coverage at the Sporting News. I don't sleep. It's just constant. So appreciate everybody for tuning in. If you're watching this on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube. If you're listening as a podcast, leave a review, leave a comment, do all that fun stuff. We're back to football, everybody. And we'll be back next week. Preseason week 1. It's going to be a good time. See you then. It's the Pump Fake.